Hello, everybody. Pardon the technical difficulties. We're still waiting on somebody to crop the streams and bring them up, but for now, we're here to commentate this match. I am Malmo. I'm joined by Lucy and Greeth. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Malmo. How are you doing today?
Good. Thankfully, this is a standard start, so we got some warm-up time to watch the runners go through the escape. It is a casual boots match with a modified hard item pool, which we'll explain in a little bit. But for now, we're just dashing through the escape. Usually this takes around 5.5 minutes to clear. All right. Oh, we got a bomb drop from the guards. The way standard works these days is everybody's guard is supposed to have the same drop. Ah, here we go.
Yep,
Nice.
looks like we're up and running.
We got a bottle too. So bottle's good to have going into Kakariko. It's one of the things you can check early, so you don't have to worry about sick kid later when you're starting to think about that Aga play.
Yeah, that's always a awkward one to come back to late in the route.
All right, Krithel's going for that 8/. Takes no damage and gets him in the door, which is harder than it looks.
Yeah, I've definitely never died to ball and chain guard before.
No, nobody dies to ball and chain guard. All right, Joss has gone for 2-pot. Very good strat for when you don't want to die to ball and chain guard because it's so easy to just take a whopping.
Yeah, that's what got our audio up too.
Nice. Backtracking feels a little bit less bad when you have the boots. Unlike the old man, Zelda runs at full speed. And Joss has taken the dash path. I think this is actually optimal to go down like this when you have the boots. I might be wrong though.
I've wondered about that myself. It's I usually go down, but it's always on the back of my mind.
I don't play standards, so I don't know these things.
And important to know about that bottle, in the SGL mode, there's only 2 bottles in the game instead of the standard 4. Once 2 are found, the other turn into...
Yeah. Also worth noting that those bottles are empty when you find them. So if you want safeties, you have to get them yourself. It's something that you have to make a decision about. It's not going to be handed to you like it would be in a normal game. All right, Krithel knows that those snakes are on the same pack as the guard, so he's farming bombs in the snake passageway. Very good place to get early ammo for Kakariko and for other things. You do have the sword, so you don't have to worry about Mini Moldorm Cave as much, but it's still good to have.
Then having the Pegasus boots through escape takes a lot of the edge off of getting bombs for the back of escape hidden room.
Yeah, you can even see like Joss going for key dashes, which isn't something you normally get to do in the escape. But when you have the boots, you can set those up. As long as you're lined up with an object in the room and you dash into a door with a key, you'll dash right through it and not bonk. Another benefit of boots is you don't have to worry about bomb drops going into these 3 chests. You always have access to them. You can see the value of that already paying off with the glove being there. If this was not open boots or casual boots, you would not have access to that if there were no bombs in the prize packs. So you'd have to come back in through the escape from the front way or find another glove to get to that glove.
Yeah, and that's real awkward too, because if the gloves are in the back of escape, you have to find another set of gloves to get back to it without taking the long way.
All right, we got a map in Sanctuary. Both of them get it. It's Josh shaking his head. It's one of those things where you can count your items all you want, but if you aren't 100% certain about it, you are going to think about it for the entire rest of the game, so it can be worth it to just open the chest, even if you know it's a map, for your peace of mind. And silver arrows. And that leads into another thing about this item pool. We do not have progressive bows. We have silver arrows and the bow. So we will need to find the bow to progress through the bow lock dungeons. There are not 2 of them.
But that'll definitely make the once the ball gets rolling, it'll make a lot of bosses a lot easier once that bow is found. All right, just a big red on lumberjack tree. So Aga not immediately in play. We'll see how the seed progresses.
Yeah, starting with a sword does make Aga a little bit more likely. With that sword being available, you're more likely to get access to it. And oh, speaking of which, we have a cape in the Lost Woods plain sight item.
Yep, if the lamp shows up, start counting down to it.
Yeah, start counting up to those blue balls. You might see him. So blue rupees are a little more common as well because they're replacing some of the items that get taken out of the hard item pool. The only time you'll ever see a green 20 in this mode is if it's a sword. When you have found your tempered sword, the last sword becomes a green 20.
All right, with plenty of bombs from Escape, Kakariko should be a breeze for everyone.
Yeah, it's good to have that bomb and also the bottle so you don't have to worry about sick kid like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the only thing that sweet would make it just the absolute sweetest would be to have a flute as well. But Kakariko's a big place. You might find the flute here. Oh boy, Master Sword, Cape. Just wait for that lamp. And some early money will make Ball Merchant easy to route in. No extra grinding for rupees. Alright, we got a map check. Looks like Hera and Eastern Palace are both. Hera is blue pendant, Desert is green pendant. I didn't quite catch Desert. Looks like it's a blue crystal. And there's a mirror in the back of the tavern. Alright, we got the blue mail from Sick Kid. In addition to the sword, shield, and bottle pools, now the blue mail has been found. The red mail has been removed from the game and has been replaced with a rupee pickup. All right, looks like I'll be flying solo for just a few minutes while Malmo fixes some technical difficulties. Krithel is making the play to South Shore, to the dam and the Moldworm Cave. And race game is just a bunch of bombs. No point in chasing after those.
I'm back.
Hey, welcome back, Malmo.
Sorry, my Discord tends to freeze up if I have push to talk on, and it types in the text box. Looks like we got a mirror. And a master sword. Oh no.
And the moon pearl on the flooded.
So Joss will be coming up on that shortly. Both runners going roughly the same direction. There isn't really a whole lot you can do here except sequence break the mountain.
Yeah, and the first, 10, 15 minutes or so of most rando playthroughs are pretty on rails.
Yeah, we like to talk about early game routing, but ultimately it doesn't matter as much as you might think. Most people just do what makes sense, and what makes sense will be the same for both runners. And even if it's not, they're just doing the same things in different order. As we get a tempered sword in Mini Moldrum Cave, so we're going to be quite comfortable. That's going to be our last sword in this game. We also both have blue mail. That's going to be our last mail because the last one will get downgraded to some rupees as well.
So definitely a nice early game loadout as far as general utility goes, but not a whole lot of actual general items.
Yeah, nothing pointing our runners in any particular direction. We would need a lamp to unlock most of the logical locations, like the mountain or Aghanim. Now we could dip into Eastern Sahasrahla.
Desert's also on the table with a book and Chicken Hut.
Yeah, and again, with Desert, you would want a fire source before going in there, but doesn't mean that it's not going to force you to go in without one. Because the fire source is only for the boss. Everything else is accessible with what they have.
It looks like Krithel is water walking up to Hobo.
Yeah, going to take a peek at the Hylia Island. Glad he remembers that, because usually in glitch modes, which he plays a lot, you do that first. It's easy to forget to do it later. Taking advantage of that speed you get from the water walk to check Hobo just a little bit faster. And he'll be able to fake Flipper out of here if he chooses to, although I can't imagine... No, he's going to do it. All right. Because he doesn't have Zora money. Neither does Joss.
The Moon Pearl will open up a waterfall for a check, though, at least.
Yeah, when you got Aga looming on the horizon, or a fireless desert, or something similarly unsavory, that is going to tempt you to do out-of-logic checks to try and get around that. And Joss is going the other way, going straight to Waterfall, not having to worry about the fake Flipper. Oh, and taking advantage of that Waterfall throw. I'll only get to B for it, though. Ooh, this Whirlpool giving Krithel a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, and he sees it too. He's not happy with that Whirlpool.
I do like Joss's route of, because he knows he's not doing Zora, keeping his water walk to check Hobo. He will skip out on that Zora ledge knowledge, though, that Krithel will be getting if he walks out of Waterfall. Also going to get rewarded with a B. And here we go. The Zora ledge item, the one difference between the two runners is that Krithel will have checked this and Joss will have not. And it is... I can't see it. Just a little bit cropped. Oh, it's going to be a mystery.
That'll be fun to speculate on for the rest of the match.
Yeah. It's the one thing he has over not just Joss, but of us. We don't have that knowledge either. And we won't know until he either chases it or doesn't.
Yes, Krithel is the only person present who knows what's on that ledge.
It's the only person in the entire world who knows the Zora ledge item.
Alright, and Saha's closet has a shield.
The shield. We will not be getting any others.
Yep, just like the sword, bottles, and armor. Shield is capped at just the fighter shield.
Yeah, if you don't see any... if you see any weird-looking blue rupees lying around, those are the other shields. And no, they will not protect you from anything. They just look that way because of the shield's sprite size or something. So it looks like they're getting bottlenecked into Eastern. It's definitely a toss-up between doing this and Desert. Neither of them is really more appealing than the other. Both of them are dungeons you cannot full clear. But this one has the benefit of proximity. They just checked Sahasrarla's closet, and they're here. So they might as well go inside.
Exactly. When in doubt, do what's closest. If you have no other options.
Nice use of infants. Dashing through those cannonballs. He'll not be able to do it on the way back because he's out of magic. Speaking of magic, half magic is also not in this pool, which is a crying shame because it's one of the best safeties. So magic management will come into play throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, and again, certain bosses like Cold Stare and Trinex, that can make or break run.
Oh yeah, you drop into a cold stare with one tick missing and you only have the fire rod, you are probably not going to do well in that fight. You can get around that using certain tricks, but it's something you have to plan for.
Eastern is empty so far. We got the compass and the big key.
Yeah, it's also a pendant, which I can see why they're a little bit more inclined to go in here. If they're missing out on the boss of this dungeon, it is just a pendant and they probably don't have to come back. So this is almost like an overworld check to them. Ooh, another non-important item in Eastern. Not looking good for the runners because everything else here beyond the big chest is going to be out of logic. They're just a room apart, too.
And looks like Eastern, logically, for the time being, is dry, but Joss and Krithel are going after the dark chest.
Yeah, you don't go in here and bail on one item. When you know that your next progression item is probably the lamp anyway, and it's probably just sitting in a Guinness cave. I mean, they could find the hammer and get Darkworld access. That's the other option. But there's not a whole lot else that can unlock parts of the world. The flute would give them some mountain access, but only up to Hera.
So what do you think they'll find first? A hammer for Dark World access or a lamp for Aga access?
The lamp, maybe Aga, but also could be mountain. There's a few things that the lamp unlocks. We're not finding anything good in Eastern, though. It does seem to be the third item, if I'm not mistaken. Feel free to correct me on that one.
I believe there are 2 drops of bombs and a piece of heart. So yeah, I believe that Eastern is dry.
Both going south. This is going to be the Agena Desert play. I can't imagine anywhere else you would go from here. Just a screen apart.
Yeah, at this point, I believe Desert is the last logical check.
I'm being asked if we did Bonk Rocks. I don't remember.
I do not recall. That's a good question.
That's an easy one to forget in Standard, because you're not used to like walking out of Sanctuary and being able to do Bonk Rocks, unless you play a lot of casual boots.
I think I remember Krithel checking it, and if Krithel checked it, I had a hard time believing Joss also overlooked it.
Oh, it had something important? Oh, it was the silver arrows. I remember this.
Oh yeah, the silver arrows.
Alrighty, you say it's the last logical check, but Zora is still out there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We're quite poor, unfortunately, and we can get the Houlihan from the graveyard drop down, but even that's not going to be enough to get to 500. So there's going to be some farming involved, and there's mitts. Okay, that's Darkworld access. We're not farming for Zora today.
Definitely not yet.
Pretty gross, though, expecting you to do this without fire. Like, both runners are probably feeling behind despite being on the same screen as each other. Look at them. They're just a staircase apart.
Yeah, literally just a couple seconds apart. Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's really just a toss-up to decide whether to do Eastern or Desert, but Eastern is right there, so you're not going to bail on 3 perfectly good pickups, potential pickups.
It didn't even have the decency to ask you to come in here without a glove and then give you the glove. Like, it's not going to give us the fire. It wouldn't be that nice.
Rando rarely is.
The small benefit, the small mercy is that we have the mirror. So if we come into Mire, we'll be able to just mirror and clear this dungeon later on. However, it does look like the boss has an item. Well, we don't know. I haven't seen his torch yet. It's looking likely. Let's put it that way. All right, boss definitely has an item. We've seen map and compass.
Which that should be too bad. Like I said, coming in from Meyer, Lamo is right there.
Wow, Krithel has pulled ahead. I mean, it doesn't in rando it doesn't matter as much, but when you see them on the same screen for 5 minutes straight, you start to notice. You almost see it as like a speedrun race. But it's gonna change when they get the mitts because they're gonna have divergence opportunities that they didn't have before, and the seed will get interesting very soon.
Yeah, Titan's Mitts opens up a lot of opportunities.
Unfortunately, though, it's the Darkworld access you get from mitts is not that interesting. You just go to Village of Outcasts. There's nothing else you can do. So
Yeah.
it's not going to diverge quite yet. But once we're in there, I'm sure we'll find something that will give us choices to make.
Yeah, and if we're going to be hammer starved on this seed, having them run back to Village of Outcasts every time you want Dark World access can quickly grow to be a pain.
Yeah, that might inform their decisions on how thorough to be when they're going through this area. Like, do you dip Skull Woods? Do you go all the way to Graveyard Ledge? All right, we got a map check. Thieves Town's a pendant. We got red crystals at Swamp and Ice. As we can see, our other pendants are in the light world. So that is everything we need to know.
Looks like Krithel and Joss are both dipping Skull Woods early to see if there's anything there.
Big key. Nice bomb jump. And a small key, also nice, because you can just progress. All right. Yeah, because if you don't get a small key, you have to start routing really awkwardly through this dungeon. And once you have committed to these chests, you're going to open all of them.
Right. Now, unless you find your second item, in which case you just mirror out and bail.
Some people are known to mirror out and bail out your first item if it's in the first chest, because the rest of the dungeon is just a big old left side swamp once you've done that.
Yeah, Skull Woods can be pretty underrated to full clear.
Yeah,
Commitment.
it is actually. I'm in team bail out at one item if the item is in the first chest you open, but I think I'm in the minority there. But this seed did not present us with that opportunity. It gave us the big key, which compels you to keep checking because you got to check what's behind that, right? And then you get the small key and you got to keep going.
Yeah, all of a sudden turns into one big rabbit hole.
Yep. All right, 10 arrows in the middle, so that's one item.
Yep. So
Correct.
it's like,
Correct me if we saw another item in here, but I think there's still one in the back.
I believe you're right. It looks like Mothula or
Where's Krithel going?
Bridge chest will have our final item.
I don't think he meant to fall in here.
I would say probably not.
It isn't inverted. We have plenty of bombs. He's laughing.
Yeah, he probably was not the intended route.
I think he just meant to dash across the top row and dash across the middle instead. Oh, okay, we're continuing north. This is where divergence can happen because you can go south and just do Pendant Thieves for its 4. There's a lot of things you can do.
All right, looks like Bumper Ledge has nothing but bombs.
Going for the full Graveyard Ledge. I wonder if he'll go all the way to Catfish. I wouldn't be inclined to do this myself simply because you have the opportunity to do it with Zora later. Joss is going here too.
Interesting. Still following the same route.
And King's Tomb. I forgot about King's Tomb. I always forget King's Tomb.
That's one of those weird ones that's so easy to overlook. That general area is kind of cordoned off sometimes.
Yeah, despite having 2 forms of access to it, it's so easy to just like forget. Or think, oh, I have the mids, I'll walk here later, and then you just never do.
And there's our fire
Oh,
rod.
fire rod. Joss shaking his head.
I mean, but how often would people make the graveyard ledge check before dipping Skull Woods from that Dark World Excess?
I don't think you really can. Like, you can't justify that, right? So now you got to go back to Skull, right, and get that last item, get your crystal. That's a no-brainer, at least. And I don't think going to Catfish would have been the correct play here, even without that fire rod, simply because of that Zora Orphan that you get out of it.
Exactly. You go complete Skull Woods, go down into Thieves Town, Village of Outcasts, clear that out, and just do your South Dark World routing.
I guess we're not ever finding out what that Zora Ledge item is, are we?
It'll be a mystery, lost of time.
Nope.
Be one of the great storylines to come out of this tournament.
Yeah, for the newcomers here, Krithel checked it, and his resolution was such that we can't see it. So he's the only person in the entire world who knows what's on Zora Ledge. Joss did not check it because he took his water walk back to Hobo.
So we got a little bit of divergence here. Krithel opting to go back through Skull. It looks like he's picking up that full magic decanter.
Oh no,
Or
he needs it.
Mothra.
How does he not have magic? Has he never picked up magic? Like, I guess you don't get magic unless you pick it up, right? So, ooh,
yeah, I think
that was
Joss
close.
is pretty low on magic too. So I think there's just been a general lack of magic pickups so far.
Krithel used his last magic in Cannonball Room of Eastern to get past the cannonballs a little bit quicker. Unfortunately, it's hard to get magic in this game without, like, deliberately going after it. Usually you just get it from a boss, but you didn't fought any boss yet, so yeah, this is where magic management comes into play. Krithel loses a little bit of time having to go back to that pot, which thankfully didn't despawn. It's really common for that to despawn due to sprite limits. All right, Joss is in Thieves Town. This is a pendant dungeon, so his decision to continue will probably depend on what he finds in here in the first 4.
Yeah, it's always a bad time when you do an early dip of Thieves and your 4 items are a big key, small key, compass, and map.
Yeah, we have found Rupee and Rupee, so I cannot imagine Joss continuing to the back. It's wholly unappealing. Interesting, though, that he didn't even go for Moth at all. It's surprising to me. Because he has plenty of equipment for it. Like, his equipment's not really going to get any better than this. He'll get some hearts, but that's about it. And we get our last item from Moth. It's just a heart piece, but we do get a crystal out of it.
That was a super smooth moth fight.
Oh. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Chat has decided to help us out and look at Krithel's VOD and tell us that Mushroom is on Zora Ledge. So that is definitely a spicy item. Not really worth trying to splash delete to, but definitely something you have to think about. He's probably not going to want to go there without flippers.
Oh, the hammer's on head. Oh boy.
That is some hot knowledge from Krithel. Found hammer on the pedestal. Oh gosh.
We are in for a seed, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh. Hopefully Joss checks that when he's there too. He just hasn't done Moth yet. It's not too hard to get back to. I'll just run there and go into the portal. It's a crystal you can do with an item on it. I can't imagine that.
And Krithel
slowing him down too much.
Krithel's enjoying that pet news.
It's doing a little dance. Yeah, you had to feel good about that. On the other hand, you probably imagine your opponent has the book and mirror too, and it's probably going to check that. Joss is going for a Smith chain.
And I imagine we'll probably be seeing Village of Outcast checks from Krithel now.
So I'm curious what Hammer Knowledge will do to Krithel's decisions compared to Joss. Both of them are doing the same checks now, but one of them knows that the hammer is not going to be available anytime soon, and the other one doesn't. So that might change how they do these checks. For example, if you get the flippers, you have the option to go into Swamp for 1 check. If you know the hammer's not there, you're probably not going to do it, right?
Yeah, that's... I can say from experience, like, lack of hammer, it can just lead to a lot of wacky routing. Because you need the hammer to get through dungeons. TR, Ice Palace, Pod are all hammer locked.
Yeah, I almost imagine Krithel's not going to Back of Thieves either. Knowing the hammer's not there pretty much puts the nail in the coffin for Back of Thieves.
Well, we'll have to do Thieves to kill blind.
Oh,
to
of
hammer.
course. I'm silly.
So,
He's going to do Back of Thieves because he knows it's required.
yeah, so that's actually a very big point in Krithle's favor, because Joss bailed on Thieves Town after the first 4 checks.
And not only is Back of Thieves required, but Hammerless Thieves is required. You're not going to get the hammer to do this. You have to go. Okay. Small magic decanter from Stumpy. That is a replacement for the half magic. All right, here we go. Back of Thieves.
Yeah, this is going to be a very big point in Krithle's favor.
Hammer on pedestal is like the only scenario where you do this. I can't imagine any other way you decide, oh, I'm going to go to Back of Thieves without the hammer, and it's a pendant, and I've already found 2 items in the front. Oh, poor Joss. Hopefully he'll get bottlenecked by it. The last thing you want is like the hook shot giving you all of the mountain or something.
We just got the God Pixel from Krithel in Thieves Town.
Really nice post-Hellway room as well. He practiced. I mean, this is part of his speed run that he does, so he practices this a lot. We got Powder on Bombo's tablet for Joss. Powder is an awkward one to do without the hammer because you have to mirror to it, and then you lose your portal. So that's going to be a pain point for him as well. So we are just a bow away from being able to get that hammer. And a lamp from it being in logic.
Yeah, so you gotta wonder, because Joss has not found a bow or a lamp yet. You gotta wonder where those things are gonna end up.
Yeah, and it is the bow. There's only one. We've already found the silver arrows. They can't use them until they get that bow. And there's the lamp in Hype Cave.
There's the lamp. Overall, pretty lackluster Hype Cave, as usual.
Lamp is nice. At least it points you to the game really wants you to get the hammer sooner than later. The lamp isn't somewhere really dumb. Like Misery Mire or something.
So with the lamp and gloves, I wonder if Joss might head up to Death Mountain?
Yeah, and he'll have the opportunity to do Hera, which is a pendant. We'll see if he chooses to climb or not, because it's a hard sell to climb Hera when it's a pendant and you don't know it's required. He doesn't have the hook shot. He can't get the easy Hera pot to it. So he's going to have to make that decision to leave it behind or to check it, especially if it's fire locked. Like, in his shoes, I think I would skip it if it was fire locked. Especially if you find an item in the basement cage.
Yeah, without that knowledge of... And a very clean...
Nice script.
Fight. Nothing but very nice and clean boss fights from Krithel so far.
Yeah, this is that speedrun practice paying off. When he does this in the speedrun, he has like 2 hearts and fighter sword. So his life depends on it.
And so I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of retracing Joss's steps from Krithel right now, doing South Dark World checks and all that.
Yeah, I'm curious if he chooses to go for the Smith chain, knowing that his hammer's not available. Because you might want to do it later when you have the hammer, so you can do hammer pegs while you're there. But again, he still needs the bow to even get that hammer, and the bow might be there.
And Death Mountain's not turning out much so far.
I like that diagonal dig. That's good. Yeah, Joss getting that boomerang. Boomerang is, I think, one of the most underrated items in the game. It's really handy to have, especially when you have quick swap available.
Yeah, and if the hook shot ends up being deep in the sea, the boomerang can be your best friend.
Yeah, it can be a good stun item. You can also get a chance at getting a double heart when you boomerang a heart due to some weird behavior in the game. So when you're at low HP, which you might be in this pool, yeah, it could be handy to have those heart refills available. If you're wondering why they're still on 6 hearts, that is intentional. The game item pool has been modified such that you don't just cap out at 14 right away. Instead, a lot of the heart containers have turned into heart pieces. So you actually have to collect the hearts piece by piece. There's only 2 boss hearts in the pool and Sank Heart. So you're mostly going to be getting your heart refills slowly as the game progresses, giving you a much more balanced slope of health as you go through the game.
Yeah, it looks like Joss is making the choice to climb here. We'll see if he follows that all the way through the Moldorm. I would imagine if he doesn't find 2 items, he might go to the Moldorm because, like, picking is starting to get slim.
Okay. He's just going to bomb jump this. That's fine. No, Joss. I hope he goes back. Okay, good. The worst thing that could happen to Joss right now, though, I think, is he finds the second item, and it's not on Moldorm. For Joss's sake, we want the item to be on Moldorm so that he actually fights him when he's here and doesn't have to double dip this dungeon. But he has no idea what's going on with the pedestal. Is he on the back? Yeah, he is. Okay.
All right, good. Looks like the second item is going to be on Moldorm.
Good. Good.
Every now and then, Rando likes to throw you a bone.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before Joss goes back to Mothula, given that it's a crystal he can do. Hopefully he'll remember to check the pedestal when he's there as well. Oop, there you go. Just a spin and a slash for Moldorm, and he is down.
All right, so that's the first pendant for Joss.
And the small key locking the other item. And he's probably not happy about that. He's like, oh, I just killed Pendant Moldorm just so I can do Hair Basement. And that can't feel good. He doesn't know how good this is for him. Yeah, and in this scenario, you have to go back in. You can't just commit to that and not check the item.
Yeah, and especially at this point when pickings are starting to get slim as far as checks go.
It will be a little bit more of a question if Krithel does it, knowing that the pendant is required. So it won't feel like he wasted his time. But he also might feel like he's ahead because he knows about the pedestal and doesn't have to be making big gambles to stay ahead. So he can afford to check this as well in his mind. On the other hand, he might just think Joss checked it too. Like, it's totally reasonable for both runners to have just gone immediately to Moth and checked Ped and have the same knowledge. You can drive yourself crazy trying to imagine what your opponent is doing, and to the point where it's probably better to just not think about those things and just play your best game.
Exactly, that's the mentality I usually take. You know, what my opponent does, all I can do is play the best game I can play.
And there's that powder. So, as long as the powder doesn't have the bow, Krithel's in good shape to check that with the hammer pigs when he gets his hammer. He's going to go back to clean up Mothula, which does have an item. I'm surprised Joss didn't do this when he was here, because he did have the opportunity. Alright, Joss has run out of checks, is that correct? I think he still has Zora Catfish, Pyramid, and all that, but those are logically Aga locked, except for Zora, so I don't think he really wants to do that. He can do it from here, though, with a Kern jump. Maybe that's his thought, is do Moth and then Kern jump over and check Catfish and Zora, now that he has the money to do so.
That would be a good play. Opens up quite a few opportunities.
Yeah, maybe this is the plan all along, like why he put off Mothula is because he wanted to make this Kern jump play. Or you can also arm a water walk here. It's forgotten tech.
Yeah, it's one I see floating around every now and then, but you don't see a whole lot of people talking about it after the Kern jump.
Ooh, gets a runaway Popo in the Popo kill room. Very nice back of desert for Krithel. And Joss going straight to Mothula, not having to farm magic. thankfully.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, these speed run strats are definitely paying dividends for Krithel.
That Igor, though. Where'd he go? He's gone. He's going to take one more hit, isn't he? Yeah. I mean, Lamo's not really a huge threat. Ooh.
Oh, a very generous Gibdo drop.
Heads up a magic collection from that Gibdo, too. He does have to be a little speedy here now. Okay, we got it. Mothula did not, or Lamo did not drop anything good. Mothula didn't either. It's just a heart piece. But the big decision point comes up as Joss remembered to check pedestal here.
Yeah, that's gonna be probably the linchpin of the rest of the game here.
Yeah, if you don't check ped and you get the bow, what do you do with it, right? You probably don't go to Eastern. Probably go to Pod first, knowing that Pod's in logic if you fight Aghanim. Mothula is not behaving here. This is, gosh, just going up, 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 up. Really hard to actually get real damage on Moth when she goes up like that, because she just takes spike damage instead, which for her is 0 damage.
Yeah, Mothula is one of those bosses after up to a certain point, like no matter how good you are, Mothula is always capable of being a pain.
Yeah. Even when you're good at Moth, it's either the most satisfying or the most frustrating fight. Good, good, good. Mirror, yes, let's go.
Okay,
Head
good.
check for Joss. He's back on track. Good thing about that is, he didn't really do anything that Krithel didn't do. The big thing is that he's going to have to double dip Thieves Town. Other than that, they've done the same checks. Krithel's just done a crystal that Joss hasn't done yet, but missing a pendant that Joss has. So they're about even in terms of checks done.
Joss is realizing.
Yeah. He's realizing I think it actually is faster to save and quit here and go into the portal than it is to backtrack through. It's hard to know. Like, mirroring and then using the hammer to get to the portal is faster, but we don't have the hammer, so where's he going? Magic Bat. You can't do Magic Bat from this direction, Joss. Yeah. I know what he's thinking, though. It's right there. You're in the light world. Magic Bat's in the light world. You just go to it, right?
Yeah, hammer's on the mines. You're in Kakariko. You just make some assumptions.
There's also that mentality of, I saw the item, therefore I have it.
Oh, if only, if only.
If only, if only. Okay. Going to Thieves Town, I actually forgot to account for the fact that Joss is not actually a pendant ahead because he has to do this too. The seed is bottlenecking them pretty hard. Where is our bow? Is it is this an Aga seed? Is this on West or East Dark World somewhere?
Oh, we might have an Oops All Dungeons game here.
Yeah, they're not going to actually fight Aga for it. They'll do some kern jump or something to get across, but it's a little hard to splash delete with the items they have, but they do have other options. Oh, God Pixel for Joss too. Let's go.
The double God Pixel.
Heck yeah. Show that room what it's what it deserves.
Yeah, if at all possible, say no to Aga.
Let's go. Very nice bomb jump. Let's see what he does with that small key. Because again, it's different when you know that the pendant was required. But also, he's running out of checks. I think he has to do it. I don't think he really has a lot of choices.
Yeah, when you're this starved for checks, you generally try to leave nothing to chance. And another super clean kill from Krithel.
Very nice. There it is. Of course it's the small key. Why wouldn't it be the small key? You know what I didn't look at when Krithel was here is there even an item in the big chest of thieves? So turns out there might be. I didn't see if we got the map. I did see the compass in the front. The compass was in the front. I saw it for sure.
Yeah, and with the way the scene's playing out, you wonder if maybe progression is in the big chest of thieves.
Oh no, there's an item. Joss just checked it too. He had to check his menu for that. Thanks, Joss. Now we know. Ooh, yeah, Krithel, gotta be careful with that pixel. You can soft walk in that corner. Thankfully, he's far enough to the right to not soft walk here. Oh, this might not be a script for Joss. I think he'll be all right though. He has plenty of health. He has the cape if he needs it. Got it out already. And there you go. Taking out the cape, taking no chances. Last thing you want is to die to blind and having to fight him without the script. All right. I would say as they're even up on checks, right? Except that Krithel has done desert. Am I missing anything?
I think they're both pretty much on top of each other, minus that desert play.
So now Joss can check Magic Bat, which is a little less awkward for him because this is going to be the end of his route anyway. I'm also thinking Krithel is thinking the same thing. He's got his powder out even though he's not ready to actually use it yet. He's running out of checks too. So he's going to follow Joss really closely behind, checking that powder. This would be quite the mean seed if this is Bo. It's the cane! No fake powder for you.
Yep, and unfortunately, the cane does not help us in the immediate situation.
Yeah, cane does actually... They could sequence break ice and do Icebreaker without the hammer. Let's not do that, though.
Now, you still need the hammer to get the cold stare.
Yeah, no, it would be a terrible play that they could if they wanted to.
I've definitely never gone all the way to cold stare without the hammer, only to realize.
Hey, you're talking to the person who's gone all the way to cold stare without the fire source. Okay. It's easy to forget these things. Or you like think, oh, ice isn't logic, let's go, and you jump in the water and splash out and feel really dumb. Okay, Joss is going to clean up desert. This is a no-brainer. It's your last crystal that you can actually do, and it has an item on it. But I can also see the temptation to wait for Flute to do this. It doesn't look like the seed is really going to let you do that. So I think it's his Naga seed. I don't think there's anything left besides Zora. But you're not going to just go to Zora. You're going to go to Catfish and mirror to Zora. You know what the cane does? If you know your splash delete setups, it gives you an opportunity to get that mushroom from the ledge.
Looks like Krithel is heading east, getting ready to cross the river.
Yeah. This is the only thing he has left. I mean, he does that, or he just walks to Zora, but both of them are in logic. So you might as well do both together. What a weird seed this has been. All right, this is Kern Jump for Krithel.
Generally, ending from the north, it's about the closest you'll ever get to Catfish without heading in this direction.
Nice first try Kern Jump. That's deceptively hard to do. Like, you had to move up a pixel or so, and actually moving up a precise amount while you're walking with the bomb can be kind of tough.
Yeah, it's something I've done a couple times. I don't quite have the hang of it yet.
Every time I try it, I always fumble the up and just go way too far and splash out and look real dumb. Let's see if he goes for that mushroom when he's here. He might give it a shot, given that he has the cane. It's a little harder to splash delete with the cane than with the bow, in my opinion.
Nothing but
it's not Catfish.
20.
Just Zora, Pyramid, and Pod left.
So this is a logically required Oops All Dungeons seed.
Okay, I love the colors that Lamo flashes for Joss. It's like fuchsia. It's so good. I think it's taking this color from his like sprite's sleeve or something. Yeah, both runners have dove eastern while looking for their Dark World access. Turns out it was in desert, which you had to go in. Flippers on Zora!
Vanilla
Which means
flippers.
you can just... Okay, forget Splash Elite, you can just go there now. That sucks. They could have had that for a long time. Ice Palace is in Logic now. Let's not go there. But I don't know if that's much better than going to Pod at this point.
Yeah, and that is some vanilla flippers.
I mean, they go to Pod because his portal's there, and he might as well walk to Pod and Pyramid. It's not like it's better than Ice. Swamp Palace is also an option. The bow can be in that first chest that you normally look for a hammer in. What a seed. What a seed we have rolled. Aren't you glad you signed up for this one to commentate?
I'm very glad. I'm having a great time.
Imagine if this didn't get restreamed and people missed out on this race right here.
Exactly. The world needed this.
The world needed this in these trying times. An Agaped seed, although probably not actually. It's probably just a hammerless swamp seed or a hammerless ice seed instead.
All right, time to see what that mushroom brings us. Where is Joss going? Oh, he's setting up the
He's
water
setting
walk.
up his water walk. Yeah, this is the old school strat. It's not even here. All right, Krithel's picking up his blue potion. This is probably the only opportunity he has to even get a potion. If he's going to Pod also, that gives him an opportunity to not have to Mimic Clip when he's going to the right side. I know he's capable of it, but it's can be slow if you're using select buffers to do it. So that potion might actually save him time. And then if he decides, well, the bow is just in Pod, he doesn't need to do it anymore, he has a blue potion. And that's really good safety to have throughout the rest of the game when you're still on 7 hearts.
Pyramid has nothing but bombs for us.
Joss is taking his water walk down here. That's interesting. I don't know if I've seen that before. Oh no, he didn't get it. All right, he's going to get the Splash Delete instead. This is probably the better spot to Splash Delete from. Oh, not quite. I wonder what went wrong. It can't be his index because he didn't have a bow to spam arrows with. That's not going to work. Joss. All right. Well, this is looking rough for Joss. He does have other options. He can go for the Kern Jump. He can do the Splash Delete again, but he'll need to buy some bombs because he only has 1 left. He'll probably want them for... Oh, is he gonna fight Aghanim?
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
I would probably say in the same situation, I would probably
Yeah, you could lose a lot of time throwing your head at glitches. Might as well just do the thing that's required, that you know how long it takes. You know it's not going to take literally forever. It'll be over in a few minutes. But this is a bit of a blow to him in terms of the race, you know, because Krithel's already in Pod. So his clock is ticking for Joss. However, there's still quite a bit of seed left. We still got to find that Ice Rod. We still got to find some medallions for those 2 dungeons that require them. We don't have any right now, so it's a lot of things that can happen between now and then.
Yeah, crazy to think that almost an hour into this game, we've only got 2 crystals.
Right, but we have 2 pendants too, and those are also required. So we've got to count them, right? That's still progress.
Yeah.
The Pod was not bow locked. Which doesn't surprise me because if Pod is bow locked, that means the bow is in Swamp or Ice.
Yeah, it looks like we got our first medallion from the big key chest of Pod.
All right. Well, we got a blue ball game if you want it. We're going to be fighting Aghanim on Joss's side. Hopefully it's not too many. The last thing you want is to do Aghanim that you know is skippable and get a ton of blue balls in the process. So pray for a small number for Joss. Oh yeah, the flute's required too. Thanks for reminding me. We do need that for Meyer.
I was about to remark that Krithel signed
Yeah.
up for a hammer jump, but it was just a blow up the wall.
Does he have the big key yet?
Good question. There's our second bottle.
Yeah, he does. He has no small key. Oh, it's on the Bowlock side. He has to go through the Bowlock side to get... Oh, no, he didn't get this chest yet. Okay. I don't know how to route pod. No, this is a key too, isn't it?
Yeah, pod routing is quite complex.
I think it's a key, but... Okay, so here's the thing about pod. There's a lot of different ways to route it depending on what mode you're playing and what speedrun you're doing. And I can tell you that Krithel has done one of each one. And it's really hard to keep them straight in your head. Like going from major glitch pod to speedrun pod to the other speedrun pod to casual boots pod is really, really tough to keep it all in your head. Hook shots here.
There's our hook shot.
Okay, that's mountain access.
And
Did he just count items and figure out that... Oh, the big key is bow-locked. Huh.
God, this is a bizarre scene.
So he's just staying in logic then.
So double dip pod, pendant or pedestal. This is the scene keeps on giving. Aga.
Wow. So I know that he didn't just count items and find map and compasses there because I saw the map in the Dark Ruby room. So I think what happened was the big key is bow locked, and he didn't want to skip the bow and see where he knows he needs the bow for hammer. So he just went to the back knowing that that's what's in logic and that's where his progression is going to be, which is probably wise. I mean, there isn't really that much benefit to sequence breaking something that you know is locking your hammer. There's
a bow.
So this is, it's bow and pod, essentially. And it's hammer on pedestal. This is a seed. And this confirms Aghanim is required. Because there's no other way to get to this check that has the bow in it, other than to get that hook shot out of pod. Because the hammer would be your other option, and the hammer is bow locked.
Yeah, so Joss is making the logically correct play.
Yeah, and just to be even ruder with the seed is going to force him to walk back to Eastern just to get his hammer so he can walk back to pod. He cannot do pod into Eastern because the hammer is umped and it's behind Eastern. So the seed is very rude in many ways.
This is definitely one of the more bizarre seeds I've seen.
Okay, Joss, going for those bombs. Good call, recognizing he only has one. That's like next level ammo management right there.
Yeah, that's a good heads up play by Joss.
Usually after like 30 minutes into a seed, you stop thinking about your ammo. So he's going to do that catfish Zora as well. It's funny that Zora having vanilla flippers didn't mean anything in terms of the whole hammer thing. Like, but it teased Swamp and Ice, but other than that, it didn't mean anything. It is required, but it has nothing to do with the progression to hammer. Like that flippers could probably be your go mode if there's nothing in Swamp.
Nice little freeze frame on Joss's side there.
Yeah, I like the bug eye bonk. It's a good one. Oh, I didn't think about this. The flippers are on Zora. This is not an Agaseed. You can just swim. Good call, chat. Good call. So this is going to feel really bad for Joss, knowing that the flippers were in logic, and he could have just gotten these if the seed wasn't so stingy with money in the early game. And he's probably thinking, "Oh God, the mushroom here too," and I already tried splash deleting once. This is even harder to do. So.
Here we go.
There it is. Flippers. There's his... Oh, wow. He just screamed. I would too. I would scream too, Joss. I feel that so hard.
Yeah, he is.
That's frustrating. That is very frustrating. Huge slap in the face by the seed.
Yeah, I have been there. I have bitten on some false leads for Aga before.
And this late into the game too. It's one thing when it's like early and you one of those people who just like does aga if it's in logic. You accept those times when it's sometimes just not aga, but in this case, he did his best to skip it and then came to the conclusion that it was required and went for it. And C just decides to give you the flippers for no reason, even though it doesn't have to.
Yeah, and who would suspect vanilla flippers?
So I wonder if he'll be thinking, well, now I need to follow this into Swamp and Ice to stay ahead. That would be unfortunate for him if he did that, but I could understand it.
Looks like Krithel is making his second trip into Eastern. I didn't catch. I know we saw the Turtle Rock medallion, but I didn't see it.
You saw the Turtle Rock? Oh, sorry. I'm not in the habit of checking that. I have no idea. Maybe I could bring up Krithel's stream. He might have it marked. It is Ether. Ether for Turtle Rock.
Okay. Which Krithel, I think, picked up in Hookshot Cave, I believe.
Yeah, so with 2 medallions, pretty likely we're not in a medallion hunt in the seed. But of course, the seed can throw one of 10 curveballs at us and make it bombos for Meyer.
Yeah, I don't think this seed's gonna be quite right without a Ice Rod Hunt cherry on top.
I wonder if Krithel knows he's ahead.
That's a hard, because like it's not unreasonable to think your opponent would also beeline straight back to Skullwoods after picking up that fire rod.
I feel like you can't feel too far behind. I don't think there's anything he did that he would regret, if that makes sense. Maybe little things like having to go back for the magic in Skullwoods. But this is rando. Those things don't matter as much as they feel like they matter. Until the end game when you're neck and neck, and then you think about all those things at once that you could have done differently. All right, Joss thankfully has gone to Pod and not Ice and Swamp. Good for him. This is going to put him back on the critical path.
Yep, he will get his hook shot from Dark Maze, and that'll put him on the path to Death Mountain, most likely.
Oh, I forgot about Green Pendant. Good on you for remembering to turn that in. I probably would have just rushed the pedestal. Oh, it's a green 20. It's the other sword.
Yep,
Okay.
Yeah, so bonus sword.
That's cute, but doesn't mean anything.
In a regular seed, that would have been just bizarre to have a sword left behind Green Pendant and an item on pedestal.
If it was like your tempered sword, it would have been nice. Like, oh, thankfully the seed throws us a bone, but no, it's just a green 20 here. We've got all the swords we need. Really got all the safeties we need. It's nothing else you can pick up besides maybe like a bug net or more hearts. All right, there's our pedestal pull coming right up. And that is going to be the point where we have to start making decisions again on Krithel's side. So what's going to happen next? Do you think he'll just go back to Pod and clean it up?
Maybe. If he's counting items, he probably knows there's no item on Helma since he didn't check the big chest, so...
Well, no, he didn't check the big chest because he didn't have the big key.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't have the big key because it was bow-locked. I know that the map was in the basement, Rupee basement.
Oh, we're actually about to find out our bow-locked items here.
It's a small key and a big key. We'll see the big chest from Joss. The Joss's big comeback would be if the big chest had something like the ice rod and Krithel skips it. Because the big chest is awkward to get.
Yeah, and so, yeah, the Pod big chest could be the linchpin of
this. All right, this is the Ice Palace play for Krithel. Makes sense. It's just one of those things you can do from a save and quit. And you have the cane. It's pretty fast. The only thing you could really hope for is that you can go mode it later. But I think with the cane and Icebreaker, people are less inclined to try and put off ice for that long. Most people will just accept the quicker Icebreaker route as a acceptable alternative.
Yeah, and Icebreakers was such a game changer when it was discovered pretty recently.
I can see why Krithel checked Harmless Hallway now, because he didn't know that it wasn't just 2 keys in locked pod. Alright,
I always forget
Joss.
what those duck things are called. They're being generous with the magic.
They're pen gators. I was hoping Joss would get the magic because depending on what he does, he might be short on magic coming up because he's going to use a tick to get through Icebreaker, and then he's going to use like a full fire rod shot, and he's going to be more than 2 small magic decanters down when he gets to Cold Stare. So he's going to have to route in some magic to get to Cold Stare.
Hopefully he's got an extra key by the time he makes it down to the bottom to get that side room with the magic decanters.
Yeah, it depends on the layout, but yeah, hopefully he thinks about it. He also has options. He has the blue potion, so he's not going to actually fail Cold Stare if he drops down, but he will have to use his precious safety that he bought earlier. I also think I called him Joss by accident. Sorry about that. I was watching Joss and Pod while I said that. All right, so Joss is left. Did you see what was in the big chest?
No, I was focused on the Icebreaker.
Doesn't look like anything good on his tracker, so shout outs to our tracker, by the way. We got Lady Laura Linda tracking for us for this race, doing a great job keeping us on track. Shout outs to my co-com Lucy and Greeth as well, and our runners Krithel and Joss Bleeden. Give them a shout.
It's always a huge shout out to the tracker, the person pulling the levers behind the scene, making sure everyone's up to date on knowledge.
It was the shovel. Are you kidding me?
Oh boy!
Good lord! All right. Well, if you're on Team Joss, you want the shovel to be the ice rod or something like that, or the flute. And that would certainly make the seed a little bit more even if Krithel decides to skip it. I would almost say it would swing the race entirely if he skips it. Hopefully he knows that he's far enough ahead that he doesn't feel like he has to skip it. Okay, this is your chance to get magic, Krithel. Nope. Okay. I mean, he does have that, blue potion in his pocket, but yeah, you can see he's going to need it because he only has half of a bar left and no bombos. And half magic does not exist.
Yeah, and there's not enough magic in that side room to clean up half a magic bar.
There's 3 pots, and there's 2 pots on the way to Cold Stare, so I think he's actually okay if he remembers to go there. We'll see. No, he's just going to go for his blue potion. That's fine, too.
Yeah, I mean, if
he knows he has it. It's probably saves time over going to the side room.
Definitely. If you've got the tools to do it quickly, just go ahead and do it quickly.
He's also low enough on hearts that the heal will probably make it a little safer for him. It might throw off his rhythm if he runs out of magic here. There you go. He knows what he's doing. He's got his blue potion out already. It does make the fight harder, though, when you have to heal in the middle of phase 1. Oh, nice spin. Yeah. Oh, really nice. 6 slash. Let's go!
Oh, just bullying Cold Stare into the corner.
Wow. Ice Rod on Cold Stare.
That is thematically correct.
All right, so most likely Flute Go mode, maybe Bombos. So that's not going to be an Ice Rod hunt on the shovel, which would be a worst case scenario for Krithel if he chooses to skip the big chest of pod, which is understandable. One thing we might see from him is he goes to Helma first, hoping that Helma has the item. He also might be putting off pod entirely so that he doesn't have to face that decision. Because you can just go to Swamp now and do Swamp, which I think is where he's going. Although this will also take him to pod if he goes this way.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see here for a few seconds.
Yeah, he has a lot of options available to him. Joss will be getting that medallion knowledge as well coming up.
Oh, looks like we're going Swamp. Yeah, I've been really impressed by Krithel's boss fights. They have been silky smooth.
Very practiced. It's what happens when you do all the dungeons very quickly, multiple times a week. Oop, getting a little bop from that anti-fairy. Man, even if he does get the shovel, is he going to check it? Like, shovel is so out of the way. And I don't think Joss is going to want to check it either. I don't think Joss feels like, oh, my opponent definitely skipped this, so I have to check it. Because that requires you to hard skip the big key of pod.
Yeah, I think that'll depend on how starved for checks Krithel will be when he gets there. If it's close to last location, he might take that chance, but...
Oh, Ether is just on the doorstep. All right, nice. I knew we had it. I just didn't pick up where we found it. He couldn't go in there because he doesn't have hammer. Okay, never mind.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh, the save and quit point you get from Aghanim. Just a slap in the face every time you save and quit.
You never remember it until it happens.
Yeah. And it just reminds you, oh, I fought Aga. Oh, I fought Aga. Every time. Oh, then he goes right back to the dark world. No, dude. Aghanim sucks, man. Such a slap in the face.
Yeah, in Rando, Aga just lives to make people's lives miserable.
Yeah, and messes up the light world too. You get all these guards everywhere.
Especially the super speedy red guards from who pop up now.
Oh yeah. So I guess Joss is going for his pedestal pole. And what else are you going to do at this point? You want your hammer, so you get it. And there's one of those guards that we talked about. For some reason, they put them all over Eastern, even though in the vanilla game you have no reason to ever return here. There's even a tree pull here after Aghanim. You can pull on one of those statues for a tree pull. I think the idea is if you don't have enough money for Kiki, you can farm. But who's going to think about that in the vanilla game? Like, let me just mirror to the light world and check these statue pulls. All right, Krithel's going for left side swamp immediately. So he's going for some very thorough clearing, except for pod. Which is good for him, because if he had used that bottle and pod, his cold stare would have suffered. You would have had to farm up some magic on the way and slowed down a little bit.
And a nice diver down from Krithel.
Yes. Setting up that dive bomber, making left side swamp early a little more appealing. Because you have that extra key to work with, and you can set up the dive bomber and not go through nearly as many room transitions as you would if you came back around afterward.
I saw your comment. What is RMG? I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's restricted major glitches, all dungeons. The bomb post medallion is on left side swamp. Oh, that's rude. I mean, maybe it's not required. So yeah, it's the lightly glitched version of NMG essentially. You do a lot of the same dungeons, you just do them out of order and do some funky clips to get through them a little faster. This is, yeah. I mean, you know this seed's going to require bombos, right? Like, that's just how it goes. Hopefully Joss gets it too if it's required, and if it's not required, hopefully he skips it. Give this race a little bit more of a chance for him.
Yeah, if I could just accuse this seed of something, putting bombos required for Visumeyer on left side swamp.
Ooh, nice.
That feels like something this seed would do.
Oh, this is a rude layout for Swamp, because Krithel just got the big key. So now he has to go back inside to get that big chest. He also got the map. I didn't see if the compass was collected. All right, and Joss will be getting his fake sword from... he knows too. He's like, oh, that was a sword. If this wasn't the modified hard pull of SGLIVE, this would have been a nice little consolation prize. Okay, so Joss has, again, a slew of decisions to make. A lot of dungeons you can do with this hammer. Krithel has chosen to do the flipper lock dungeons first. We'll see what Joss goes for.
Ooh, not quite on the one cycle for Argus.
And there's the compass. There is an item in the big chest. Is he going to go back in for that?
Maybe we're a flute away from go mode at this point.
Yeah. And he still has all of Turtle Rock and at least one item in pod. I didn't see if there was an item on Helmasaur or not. Oh, he's going right back in, not taking any chances. And there it is, the hammer on the pedestal. Yay.
Master Hammer.
Funny seed. Definitely a big gap between knowing the hammer was there and actually getting it. That's how you know a ped seed is special.
All right, let's see what that big chest has for us.
Joss is also going to ice. A required dungeon for the ice rod, so it's good that he goes here first before going to Turtle Rock. And where is Krithel going? What is left for? It feels weird seeing him go off the edge of the screen like that. Makes me nervous.
I would probably imagine if he's walking, he might. Oh, he's going to
Bomb shop. Oh, I forgot about this. Of course. Joss will have a slightly faster bomb shop. Having killed Aghanim, he gets that portal to work with.
Yep. Probably best way to go do the pyramid fairy and then take that to pod.
Oh, of course. Oh, well, this is good routing. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking, oh, just go to pod, from a save and quit. But no, this makes a lot more sense. You can route this in with the pyramid. Apparently, Myra's not the 5/6. It's ice and swamp, which makes sense why he did those dungeons first. I wonder if I said Ice and Mire. I said it out loud at one point, and I may have said the wrong dungeon. I do that a lot. Oh, it's empty. No bottle throw either. He must be confident in his safeties at this point. He's already done Cold Stare, which is the one where you really want to have like a magic backup for, and then the rest of it, he has Blue Mail and 10 Hearts. He's doing fine.
Yeah, the only boss that would spook me with no half magic and no safeties left would be Trinax.
Yeah, and with a Tempered Sword, that Trinax has to go pretty sideways for that to occur. And which can happen, certainly. Those heads can wiggle around pretty quickly, especially if you miss a shot on the Firehead. Firehead's really hard to hit with the Ice Rod.
Yeah, the Ice Rod always has that weird delay right at the start of the casting.
Yeah, and not only that, but there's like a gap between its hitbox and you. So if you're too close to the head when you fire it, it'll just go right through what you're firing at. Let's see what Joss does with his magic. He is in the same situation Krithel is in, but I don't know if he has the blue potion, because I think he used it for pod to sequence break the Bowlock side.
Yeah, so this can be some risky business here.
Oh, he didn't hit the switch. I think if you're going to full clear ice, it's optimal to not hit the switch, but I'm not sure.
I think that's what I was told back during the mentor tournament. But I usually just opt to hit the switch.
It's too much thinking. Just take the time loss and do it and not have to think about it.
But if you're listening to this techno, I'm sorry. Alright, looks like Krithel is opting not to go for the big chests.
Well, like I said, he might do Helmasaur first, because what if Helmasaur just has the item?
True, that's a good choice.
But Big Chest is really far away. And given that his routing style so far, he has been going back in for things like the Swamp Big Chest. So it feels like he would do this and not skip it. Because why would he skip it now, right? He has very little left in the game, just TR. And that's it?
Yeah, that's...
And I was going to say the shovel, but that's what the big chest is, so... If he gets the shovel here, I wonder if he still goes to TR.
Wonder if you also work in those sword beam strats to...
Oh, he'll be fine. No, Joss has plenty of magic. He went for the magic in the room. And now he gets 2 pots here. But he could magic double just to get a little bit extra fire rod damage in on Cold Stare. But that takes... That's one of those things that messes up your rhythm if you don't practice it. Oh, he's going for it. Sick. Oh, he gets it perfect, too. every single shot gets duplicated. He has basically turned his full magic into half magic. And now he gets to unleash on Cold Stare. Very nice. And there's his Ice Rod. Yeah, that's called Fire Rod doubling. You can trick the Cold Stare into taking Fire Rod damage from your Sword Beam.
I think the execution is you have to basically immediately after you fire the Fire Rod, you do a sword swing with Sword Beam, and it just doubles up on the amount of hits you've done.
Ah, there it is. So Krithel, he's reacting to this too. Like, he knew that it was a 50-50 for Helmasaur, and now he's like, oh, I have to go back in now. Ah. Yeah, so confirmed compass and item. Definitely makes sense to do the boss first. You don't want to go to the big chest and find the compass. And that would feel like a massive waste of time.
Yeah, when Krithel is heading back in the pod for that shovel.
Yeah, going forward again with these thorough plays, which is paying off for him because he's ahead and he can afford it. He also probably knows that he has strong, like, just game room-to-room execution from practicing speedruns. So depending on how he feels about his execution relative to his opponents, he might feel like he can afford these plays. Or he might just feel like there's very little left, and the alternative is to double dip this, triple dip this, and that's so much worse than just going now.
He pulls off the hammer jump on the first try very easily.
Well, Flute can be vanilla. He's going to go for it. Let's see. We got vanilla flippers. Are we going to see vanilla Flute? Joss is picking up blue potions. I'm going to head into Turtle Rock. Divergence. Let's go. So Joss can gain some time back by go-moding Swamp if Meyer is not Bombos. And, it's not vanilla. I wanted to see a vanilla Flute. That would have been fun. Although I also want to see this race even up a little bit. So Flute and TR, which we know it's here, I think. I don't think there's anything left.
To the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's anything left on the table.
Yeah. So even though, like, I think Joss will be getting to his go mode first, Krithel still seems to be quite a bit ahead. He has 2 dungeons cleared that Joss doesn't have. Oh, Spike Cave. Yeah, Spike Cave's available. I think if Spike Cave is like part of TR, so like you do TR and then you do Spike Cave. But that is a very good point. Very easily forgotten.
It looks like Josh can give us our first. Krithel's right behind him, though. Was he that far close to him heading up? I felt like he was farther behind.
You know, the medallion animation is really long. So even though they're on the same screen, it's still a bit of a gap between them entering TR.
That's true.
This is a long cutscene. Like, you'll see, like, Joss will already have his first chest before Krithel even enters. Do you think Joss will go mode? No, he'll probably open chests, right? Because he doesn't know the medallion from Meyer. But he will check that immediately when he gets his flute, making sure that he's in go mode before doing swamp. And he'll get to miss out also on the Pyramid Fairy, so you won't have to worry about that, because we know it's nothing.
Yeah, Josh will have a few opportunities to pick up some time. We'll see how that pays off for him.
Yeah, as long as it's not Bombos. And for Joss's sake, we don't want it to be Bombos for Meyer, because that would just be rude. All right, using the last of his magic. Very good caping before going to that door, because you can get a soft lock if you don't. If your cape runs out while you're in the door while cape dashing, it can be pretty bad.
I've heard about that, but never actually had it happen. I might do some practice hack runs just to see what happens. If
you uncape and you still have magic left, you can get out of the soft lock state by caping again, but if you're out of magic, you have to mirror out. I think like the worst place that happens in is like Thieves Town. You cape through Hellway and then you get through that door and you're infinitely walking. and you can't control Link.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a try sometime. That sounds fun to not in a race.
Not in a race.
But when you're intentionally trying to do it, it sounds like it'd be fun.
There's some pretty fun things you can do with the cape that are less disastrous. You look up cape dash overflow or whatever it's called. That one's a pretty cool one. You can get your magic bar looking all funky. Coming up on the big key chest here, which I think we got our big key. So neither runner is in go mode, so both runners will be checking this. And it is a key.
A key for a key.
That's the nice RNG for the pokey. Oh, I love that Metroid sprite. It's so good.
Yeah, is it the baby Metroid, I think?
Yeah, it's so cute. And it turns Samus green. Both of their sprites are so cute.
I'm looking at it. I'm wondering if Ganon's Tower is gonna be loaded up with hearts, because I think we've pretty much checked the entire game. We're still on our first row of hearts.
Yeah, I mean there are fewer hearts in the pool, and they're split up into heart pieces. So I think we're about where you'd expect in this pool. But you're right that there's probably a ton of heart pieces because something has to go there, right? So it junk fills hearts and rupees and arrows and bombs. And there are, 27 chests in there? I think.
Yeah, 27 total.
Of course, a bunch of them are keys and stuff, but it's still, it's a lot of places for hearts to go in there. And there's 10 arrows, which doesn't mean anything. Joss is just a little bit ahead in this dungeon, giving us our first look at Crystal Roller Room coming up. But it's looking like Laser Bridge or Trinex or a Spike Cave is going to be our flute, so not really much to look out for. There it is.
There's our flute. We are in possible go mode.
This is bigger news for Joss than it is for Krithel, because Krithel's done everything, right? Like, Joss has not done Swamp. So he gets to go mode that if it's not Bombos. So he might be feeling pretty pleased with his decision to go up here, which is the correct play for him.
Hey, Krithel giving a yeah, okay kind of look after finding the flute.
Yeah, it's here. It has to be. There's only so many places left. But definitely very nice for Joss to be picking that up before doing Swamp.
Yeah, because being able to skip left side Swamp can be a godsend.
Yeah, there's one of our hearts. Making use of that cape. The cape drains magic pretty quickly. Oh no. So yeah, you have to be. He's gonna have to do laser skips. I think he's gonna go for safety door. He doesn't want to. You don't want to die here. This is a really awful place to die.
Krithel just making a mockery of those.
Oh yeah, he's in go mode. Like actually go mode, not maybe Bombos go mode. I keep thinking about Bombos, and only Joss is missing it. So yeah, makes sense. There's literally nothing left Krithel can find that will help him out. Maybe the bug net. I don't know. He doesn't need it. Oh, Joss. Okay, well, he got safety door. That's what it's for.
Yeah, safety door, with laser skips. Yeah, if you're not super good with them, having that option is always a godsend.
All right, that was a really good recovery. Krithel went for the backdoor strat on Trinex and recognized that he was too far right and canceled his dash. He does have to be careful here because Trinex will one-shot him, and he did not take safety door. So that will send him all the way back to the Mimic Cave entrance if he dies here. But he gets it.
Once again, just absolute disrespect for the bosses.
Yeah. Definitely feeling relieved. The boss fight went about as well as it did, because that, like I said, Trinex can go sideways really quickly if you miss the strat. All right, let's see. Joss's Trinex fight coming up. It's a little less dangerous for him because he'll have safety door. He's going for a front door. Quick swapping to Fire Rod so that he can immediately start wailing on Ice Head. This is, ooh, takes a bop, but a hit from the body only does 1 heart. So that's what you want to get hit by if you're going to get hit by Trinex. Did you know that the different parts of Trinex do different amounts of damage, even on phase 2?
I actually did not know that.
Yep. The head does 4 on green mail and the body does 1.
That's good to know. I did not know that. All right, the bird is free. The duck,
Yeah.
bird, I don't know.
Incredible that it's only 131 into this seed, and we're already about to do our last dungeon in an all dungeon seed. At least it was all dungeons minus Aga for Krithel, which is most of the dungeons. And a lot of required double dips. And a lot of double dips that aren't technically required, but you do them anyway. Oh no, it's Bombos! Joss, no! Oh, what a rude seed. I did not want this for Joss. That sucks. That's so... Krithel knows it too. He's like, oh god, that was on left side swamp. Oh, unfortunate. He's gonna get the bad news real quick.
Yeah, once again, being thorough has paid off greatly for Krithel.
Man, the one thing that Joss had that was giving him time back is unfortunately nullified by having to do left side swamp. Throw him a bone, please, Seed. Have some mercy.
I'm looking forward to the comments from the racers after the game. What did you think of the seed?
Yeah, so let's talk about the brackets coming up. So this is the top 128 of SGLIVE. This is a best of 1, which, in Rando is really volatile. But to offset that, they do have a lower bracket where you can claw your way back up and have a chance. So what will happen is the winner of this match will play against Nimban in the top 64, and the loser of this race will play against Tabby Cat in the lower bracket. So look forward to those races coming up.
Yeah, I'm playing against Nimban. Nimban is what, a top 4 finisher in the last main tourney?
Yeah, Nimban goes back really far. Like, I remember watching him in the spring 2018 tournament, and he made it pretty far through the brackets as well. Yeah, this bracket is no joke. I mean, you got all these people competing for just a place in the bracket at all, and then to have to fight all the other runners who also made it to the top 128. And the rando community has had so much time to develop that nobody is free as an opponent anymore. You can't take anything for granted. All right, so Krithel has read the key logic of this dungeon, found the small key in the map chest. Wait, that's the compass chest. The firelock chest of Meyer recognizes that the small key is there. The big key has to be in the other one. So he's going straight for the cutscene chest to get his big key. Meanwhile, Joss is cleaning up Helmasaur, which he knows is just a compass because he has counted his items. But he has to do it at some point. So he's probably going to do that and then start thinking about what to do next. Which for him, I think is just shovel and swamp.
Yeah, and like you said, these brackets are no joke. I tried qualifying, didn't quite make it, but you see the quality of the opponents, and it's just staggering.
Yeah, and you go into the qualifiers and you see these 1:11 finish times. It's incredible how powerful this entire community has become. And this is what happens when you have 4 years to practice one game. Even 1 year with all the resources available with the mentor tournament that I believe many of our bracket runners, including Krithel, have been through, which is a heck of a boot camp for playing Randomizer.
Yeah, there's a handful of racers from this most recent mentor tournament who are in.
Yeah, I saw Vextifer in there. Very proud.
Yeah, next for my friend Smirk JD is also in.
Nice. Shout outs. Shout outs to all of these runners who have put themselves out there. All right, that's Helmsford down for Joss. Really nice fight from him. We got Krithel coming up on Vitreous on 5 hearts, but he has silver arrows, so it's going to be a joke. Oh, quick swap? Okay. I hate when people quick swap to mirror in doorways. It makes me so nervous.
And once again, just the absolute disrespect of the bosses.
Absolutely. Okay, this is our last dungeon for Krithel. We're coming up on Ganon's Tower. There are 22 item locations that the big key can be in. Joss hasn't checked his medallion yet. Oh, he's going to get the bad news now. I wonder if he just assumes he's in go mode and is cleaning up Helmasaur before going here. No. Oh, that's got to feel bad. But Meyer Shed is here, so there's still a glimmer of hope.
Unfortunately, we know where Vamos is.
Yeah, we don't know it's in here because I don't think Krithel had any reason to check it. Just some money.
Zephyr, if you're talking about wanting a mentor, the Go Mode podcast for Link to the Past Randomizer, they host a mentor tournament once a year. It's always something worth getting into. I just got done playing the mentor tournament. Definitely something worth looking into.
Yeah, definitely one of the many great resources for this community if you want to play competitively. It might seem like a steep path to be able to go up against a runner like Joss or Krithel, but like you can do it too. You don't even have to wait for the next mentor tournament. You can just ask for help and people will probably jump in and help you out.
Yeah, this is a super supportive community. You'd be hard pressed to find a lot of people who would say no if you ask for some help or a mentor style race.
Okay, Joss is going to Swamp, which makes sense for him. Hopefully he goes into left side. I wouldn't blame him for going to the boss first in the hopes that it's just there. But, you know, he'll have to go back in after. I don't think there's any decision point for him at this point where he can leave it because, I mean, it's that or Pyramid Fairy, right? He doesn't have that many options left.
Yeah, pretty much. I would probably rush Argus first, make the gamble that Argus has my Bombos.
Nice hook climb for Krithel on the way into GT. Get a little bit of frames out of that. Very slow staircase.
Also, we're doing the standard routing for Ganon's Tower from Krithel.
Yeah, we got Hope Room first, which is giving us not a key. Even if it was a key, he already had his mirror out. I don't think he does the right side.
Yeah, I don't think doing right side first is a particularly common strategy.
It's a thing people do. They call it hybrid route. Like if you find a key, you'll just go right. Not all the way, but just to the compass room. It's a strat for not wanting to do Ice Armos, right? Like you're delaying that.
That makes sense, because not a lot of people do want to do that.
Yeah, Ice Armos, especially if you don't have silvers, it can drain you of resources, so you don't want to have to face the climb with only 6 arrows. So avoiding Ice Armos can play into that.
Even worse if you're doing a boss shuffle.
Oh yeah, if you're doing a boss shuffle, you do a Magician route. You do Stalfos Room first, and basically anything to avoid doing the inevitable Trinex that is there.
I've been there. It's bad times.
Trinex has been shown to be biased to be in that location too. It's not just you. It's actually more often Trinex than it should be.
Oh, is that coded?
It's because Trinex can't be in these other locations like Moldorm arenas, so it gets biased into those locations instead. I think somebody did a like a bunch of seed generations to figure it out. Joss is unfortunately going to Argus, which makes sense, but you know, it's not what he needs to do.
Yeah, I would 100% make the same move. Like if you're feeling behind,
there it is.
which I wouldn't be surprised if Josh feels behind. You make that gamble to rush Argus in hopes of a Bombos.
So Krithel took probably the best route for the big key being in Random Room, other than rushing Random Room, which is something hardly anyone does. So he must be feeling pretty good about that decision. Of course, it is random. Like the big key is one of 22 chests. It's a big game of rock paper scissors basically. But yeah, if you guess key number 12, I'm trusting chat here because I don't count. Wow, did Joss just get through this room without taking damage?
That's an accomplishment.
That's a myth.
I've heard the legends, but never seen it for myself.
No, now you have. Oh my goodness, that was a good Ganon Ball Z room from Krithel. I got one of the RNGs that he knows he can just dash across.
Krithel making nice work with the gauntlet so far.
Has he not taken any damage?
I haven't counted, but I also would not be surprised if he had.
All right, silver arrows for Landmo. Oh, not quite. Okay, he gets one. It's actually really hard to like miss one and still get another. So kudos to that. All right, very solid recovery.
Yep, 2-cycle Lamos, not bad at all.
In my experience, Silver's Landmo is either 1 cycle or 5, and there's no in between. So getting a 2-cycle is definitely a feat.
Yeah, I am terrible at Lamos too.
Still on 5 hearts. Wow.
I'm curious where all these extra hearts ended up being, because we've pretty much cleaned out this entire game.
Yeah, we even did a lot of GT. I don't think there are that many plain sight hearts left behind. I don't know what the cap is in terms of like total. It's probably 14.
It is 14, yeah.
Okay. So we're missing 4. There's probably like heart containers that we haven't gotten. There's 2 of them from boss hearts, and I think the Sank heart is out there too. So it's possible we're just missing those, and they're both in Compass Room of GT or something. They could be up here too. Wow, he doesn't even care.
Yeah, I mean, if you're someone...
Oh, careful! Oh, good. Hugging that wall and make sure he doesn't fall. Moldorm just charges you like that. Very good recovery.
Yeah, I think
Joss is... No chest for him. Joss is getting his go mode coming up here. The next chest over. Oh, I didn't realize I can't even see Krithel's lost heart.
Right, time for everyone's favorite geometry wizard.
All right, Joss must be feeling pretty worn out by now. But now he just has 1 dungeon left to do. Then he'll be ready to climb GT. Oh, wow. Nice triple.
Yeah, very nice triple.
Really nice. Don't clipe. Thank you. You can't do that anyway. Tag in the way. For those who don't know, there's a major glitch you can do in this room that saves a couple seconds. He was teasing it. He knows I'm watching.
Going straight for Ganon with 4 hearts.
All right. So Ganon, 4 hearts. He can take a bat hit and not die. But other than that, he doesn't have a whole lot of safety available. He does have the hook shot. Oh, he gets the 1-1 and probably the worst RNG for it. Very good. Oh, and he's doing... Oh! Okay, there's his... Krithel. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay, this is good.
Tense.
I'm glad he got... Oh, he didn't get 1-1, but he didn't die either, and that's important. Yeah, he just learned that strat with the dash pokes like 2 weeks ago or something, so he almost pulls it off.
And let's use a cape strat there to 0 magic drain.
Getting that Ganon warp and not having Ganon face down is very difficult, by the way. So even just getting that far was really good.
I think Krithel's past the worst of it. You know, with having silvers and tempered, phase 4 Ganon is no problem.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about torch glitch at all. He can just get a silver hit on and then start fire rotting. This is one of the places where magic management would matter. If you're finishing on one of these SGLIVE hard mode seeds, you don't have the lamp, and you don't have silvers, you are in a tough magic management situation here. But thankfully, we have both of those things. Setting up for what's probably going to be a double, maybe a triple? Not quite. You can get a double here, and that's GG for Krithel. Congratulations for advancing in the bracket to face Ninban.
Let's get your GGs in the chat. And with an official time of 1:47:01, Krithel has beaten Ganon.
Nice.
That,
Triforce text.
I wonder if that's Synac or VTorp's message.
Yeah, it would have to be, right? Support a link to the past Randomizer Patreon. .com/ALTTPR. Oh, no, okay. Joss just took a hit from the Wizra, but he'll still get to his big key. He knows it's here.
And Wizard's packed a surprising punch.
Yeah, even on Blue Mail, I think they still do 3 hearts. Maybe it's 2.
It's 2 or 3, definitely.
I know all the green mail damages, but once you get into the mails upgrades, it gets a little bit different. All right, so unfortunately we will not be getting interviews because the channel is slated for another race coming up soon, so stay tuned. We're going to be cutting out here, and we will unfortunately not be able to see Joss finish either, but give the runners a follow if you want to give them their congratulations in their chat, or give them a follow so they can actually you see them race.